Welcome back on Kansas Sports Chatter. It's time for some basketball chatter, and to help us out with the segments, we bring in Adrian Maloney Jr., a scout for Prep Hoops Kansas, among many other titles in the basketball field. Hey, Adrian, appreciate you coming on. Before we kind of get into some of the individuals that you have been scouting and want to give us a heads up on, kind of take us through your background and how long you've been doing the scouting thing, and just kind of your relationship with basketball.
Hey Cole, thanks for having me. First and foremost, super excited to be here and on the show. You're doing a great job, so definitely blessed to be a part of your journey. My relationship with basketball, man, goes way back. I've been playing since I was like 3, so outside of just the playing aspect, all the way up into college, into the pros, overseas in Germany, La Rock to be exact. I got into basketball training, just some kids that kind of wanted to get better, and I had a few tips for them. So we kind of got into that. I've been doing, my Max Lab training company for 6 years now. Next month, I'll make it 7. And then I've been doing Prep Hooch about 3 years now. And then recently got on with Bethel College as their assistant men's coach. So this is making my first year there.
So I mean, you look at the scouting for you. I mean, like, what is that like when you're going around the state, especially in your area specifically? But trying to find all those gyms in the state.
It's super tough. It's super tough just because a lot of them have the similar build. Coaches talk a ton just about everybody's like 5'10" to 6'2" range, especially here in Kansas. You don't get many 6'8", 6'9" kids or whatever that is, just kind of walking around. So in terms of watching, it almost seems repetitive sometimes, but it's fun. It's fun. I love the game. I love watching people compete, and then ultimately, chasing their dream.
Well, give us a preview. I guess you got a handful of players that we want to talk about. We'll start out wherever you want to go, but who are some of the guys that we need to be looking out for this year?
Man, there is a ton. I know I'm gonna miss a few. So big shout out to just everybody having a great season this year. Just a few that I could think of off the top of my head, especially some that I've talked to. Jalen Clark out of campus. Just some 26s I'm thinking about. Darian Hammond out at Northwest. Jet Pyle. Man, just to name a couple that are definitely Gavin Chadwick out of Derby. David Johnson at Derby. Derby's always like loaded with really good talent. So man, just to name a few to watch out for that I haven't even, that's not even the tip of the iceberg.
From what you've seen, we'll start with maybe the two Derby players that you mentioned. Like, what stands out? Some of their characteristics that make them good.
Definitely just, Floyd does a great job of just promoting defense over there in the Derby culture, just pressing, just running jump, just kind of make sure they focus on defensive end and getting stops. Really trying to prep them for the next level. And so when not even just us, but when schools are recruiting those guys, they know 9 times out of 10 they're going to come in ready to compete at that level with physicality, structure, and just being able to adjust at that college level and pace. So that definitely stands out a ton.
You look at all these guys and gals that are going through that recruiting process. Any advice for them as far as maybe how to get recognized, or things that they can do to help out that recruiting process?
Uh, honestly, with the way the world is nowadays, I would say Twitter. I'm a big advocate, just fan of Twitter, just because there's so many college coaches that's on there. You can kind of have direct access to them, just from shooting them a DM or just posting your film, and coaches could just be scrolling and just kind of come across what you have going on, and if your grades fit their standard and your play style and you're kind of what they're looking for, like it could be a match made in heaven that you may not have come across if it wasn't for social media nowadays. So definitely just making sure Twitter is updated. You're constantly staying on that, posting your good stuff on that, pictures, videos, stats. Other than that, just kind of competing. You never know who's watching. You don't know who knows somebody. A lot of times I'll get other coaches just texting me saying, "Hey, I seen a guy just kind of playing in their game, and they stood out to me and kind of shot me over the information. I kind of did my homework on them." So you just never know who's watching. If there's not an actual coach or scout there in the building, that doesn't mean you won't be seen.
Where would you kind of gauge the talent in the state of Kansas? Like, so I mean, is it somewhat similar to years past, or what have you seen the trend like as far as good products coming out of the state?
I think we're really talented. I do think Kansas has some really good talented players, just all throughout. I just mentioned a couple of players in that 26 class, but you have a bunch of others, Caden Williams, and Hayden Frederick, and all them other ones in the lower classes um, that we haven't even talked about. But yeah, Kansas is definitely super loaded with talent. I honestly would say the only thing that I think holds us back a little bit is just how we're prepping them for the next level. That just for all the coaches across the board, trainers, high school coaches, summer coaches, just across the board, like just the preparation is just going to continue to separate our Kansas kids from everybody else, from your Texas kids, from your Florida kids, so on and so forth. And in terms of preparation, just how your college runs a lot of sets. There's a lot of terminology at that level that kids got to get adjusted to. And so the quicker we can kind of prep them for that, the better off they'll be coming in as a freshman. A lot of times, our kids aren't ready to really compete and contribute at that level until their junior year, maybe even sophomore. There's a handful of freshmen that can contribute at the college level. One in particular I just played against or coached against was Eli Benning. Played at Northwest last year. He's being really good for Friends University right now. So there's a handful of freshmen that are ready to compete, that have the IQ, that can play at that pace. But there's just not enough of us.
Hey, Adrian, appreciate the insight, and we'll touch base later on in the season.
Nope, no problem. Thanks for having me.
That is Adrian Maloney Jr., one of the scouts for Prep Hoops Kansas, joining us here for Basketball Chatter.